Hi everyone, how you guys doing today? How is everyone? Welcome to the Eventide booth, the world premiere. Hey, how we doing? I'm here with the legendary Roy Hendrickson, veteran of the New York City, or New York generally, like music. You've worked with people such as B.B. King, Paul McCartney, like Missy Elliott, like you name them, you've worked with them. Pat Metheny, my personal favorite. That's awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to give you that short introduction. We're talking about the H9000. Roy's been working with the H9000 a lot recently, and he's here to kind of just tell you about his first impressions of it and work through a mix with it. So take it away.
Hi guys. So this is a pretty exciting box. As many of you, my friends, know that I'm into working with hardware lately, and also working in the computer, dealing with plugins and stuff. And I got an opportunity to try an H9000 on the last record. I got an opportunity to trade an H9000 on the last record during the beginning of the recording phase, and then during doing rough mixes throughout the project, and sort of just getting used to it and using other go-to effects processors and things like that. And right away, my client was like, "Could you?" I wanted me to put everything through it. He would keep texting me and call me, "Could you run it through the H9000? Could you do that?" So I wound up saving presets as I go, which is really cool about this box. It has 4 effects chains with many processors in it. You can have pretty complex things going on. So every day I would record something and do a rough mix. I'd save the whole box into one file, and then when I'd come back to mix, I started out just reminding myself what I did on the rough mix to see what was going on. I'd end up just using it. But that was really super cool. And I've always been into H3000s and 2016s, as you guys know, and I really like the sound of the algorithms in this new box. I feel like the harmonizers particularly really sound great. And I feel like we're able to make new tools and kind of get things the way we want them.
So like we were just talking before we started about how you moved from working in the box to out of the box, and kind of like you moved between those two pretty like you're still doing that. So what's the difference to you, like the age-old argument, like hardware versus hardware versus software? What's your kind of take on that?
I think most of it is simple preference, but I just noticed that everything that I do seems to sound better with hardware, and I definitely the ergonomic side of things has a big plus and some minuses. You know, it takes a little longer to do certain things until you get used to adjusting your workflow to hardware-wise again, where you're used to loading a computer file and everything comes up. But there's a happy medium to both of those things. I really feel like, but I do feel like in the hardware domain, I feel like things sound a little bit better and more stable, and I'm able to kind of work faster.
Right. People have told me that when they're working with hardware, generally it sounds wider. There's more kind of like depth to the sound. There's more fidelity to it. So I think actually what we're doing here with the 9000 is kind of like bridging the gap between like an in-the-box workflow. So you have emote, yet it's convenient for you, and then you have the hardware sound still, because no DSP is happening through emote. It's just through the hardware. Yeah. So you want to take us through some of the stuff you've been kind of working on with it?
Sure. Mostly delays and pitch shifters are kind of something I use a lot and always running out of during a mix and even during recording sessions. And reverbs too, but mostly modulating kind of effects and things like that. So there was a delay in the box that I thought I really liked. And it was just a simple delay with harmonizer on it. But I went and kind of made another algorithm to sort of make it more how I visualized it on a desk. And that's actually really fun. You can actually put together, you can change things if you have the time to take a look and tweak things. So I'm really excited about having these algorithms that I fine-tuned that are sort of already close to what I want or exactly what I want, so I can just put them in and I know exactly what controls I need.
Right. It's familiar to you.
Yeah. And it does what I want. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people design algorithms and they're not sitting in control rooms. So to have a hand in the usability and the signal chain really, I don't know, maybe feels more comfortable to me knowing that it's right. So it's been cool too because VSig, I can look at some of the existing algorithms. I'm like, that's not what the name led me to think. You know what I mean? But I would do the same thing the other way. So that's kind of what sent me on making algorithms with the H910. It was really selfish, so I could use them. You know? But basically, I don't know if you guys can see the screen. I have the tracks from a song that I mixed on I don't know, on a record that just released, and I basically dried the vocal and then put new effects on the vocal and did a few other things using the H9000 hardware. One as an insert and one as send and returns, and that's how I sort of am incorporating this workflow and able to show you a little bit. And then basically what I'll just kind of go through this for you a little bit. Basically all I set up was 2 stereo delays, both with harmonizer, but with different delay settings and feedback and EQ on them. And usually in a mix I would ride between the two to feature things, to spread the vocal out at the same time, but really not get in the way. But everybody likes different stuff, so it's fine. But I'm just going to try to... I'm going to play halfway through the first verse. I'll let the intro go by so I can adjust levels and things. Where's the volume control for the speakers? This will be the H9000 with delays. They sound better louder.
Snow is falling in my head. Snowdrifts gather on the bed.
I make them a little more pronounced than normal, you know.
Where the man says to stay inside.
But you can feel that delay. It has that classic harmonizer, H3000 kind of spread and smoothness.
Just another charcoal morning.
And then
drops of daylight in the sky.
And then later on in the tune, this song is called Flakes of Xanax, and there's a lyric that says, take another Klonopin, which and so I decided to try to, I don't know if I did a good job, feature that in some quirky way. But it's just still, again, with delay and reverb, maybe some black hole.
Take another Klonopin. Keep the world from breaking in.
So the cool thing about this is like we're automating the hardware through the Emote software. So we're using Pro Tools automation to actually control whatever function you select in Emote. And I've always wanted to control hardware from Pro Tools, and this is the first time I'm using that. This is the first time I've actually been able to do it successfully and feel like it's going to work every time. Let me find I have one track on it that can they see this? That I instantiate Emote software, which is a plugin, but it's just meant to control the Eventide. And this is how we can grab the Pro Tools automation to move things in here. And I don't know how deep we'll get into that, but you can see I'm going to take you to another part of the tune where we go to effects chain 1. So I've got this set up as 4 effects chains. As you can see, they're stereo paths. So if any one of those delays I want to send to one side or another, I can do that from a stereo send and maybe change its whole impact on what I'm trying to do. There's another section of the song where I was getting ready to be done, and there was one drum fill that sounded really boring to me, and I'm like, I got to figure out a way to make it more interesting. And I kept thinking, I don't know, some smashed up Beatley drum fill or something like that, but I couldn't make it work. So I wound up automating an effects chain here sort of make this drum fill totally change up until the next downbeat. It's all done with automation inside this. So right now you're hearing the drums run through one effects chain, and they'll all go out of bypass just for the fill. Let's see if it translates to here. But it sounds good in the studio. So we have this. Here's the flanger part. I do automate. This is a manual flanger that's also automated in Pro Tools. So it's not. Usually you have to do it and catch it and record it on a track, you know. That's right. Which is cool too, yeah. So let's see if this sounds any good. I'm going to give you a little pre-roll, but you'll hear a stop with the drum fill coming up.
I'm all alone in New York City with flakes of Xanax, with flakes of Xanax in my eyes.
So more things. If I could do those every day, I'll be a happy man.
So, like, how important is, like, a device like this for you in the mixing stage? Like, I know that it's kind of like an inspiration machine. Like, out of nowhere, you just pulled out, like, I want to put a flanger in this thing, and it's pretty easy to just kind of pull that sound out of there. Like, so how much inspiration is drawn from just the device versus, like, just what you can translate from it?
Well, for this particular effect, when I was looking to do this effect, it was, I was kind of lost for it. Nothing was working. So I started pulling up other people's presets and looking around. And by mistake, I typed in, you can search through the plugins. So you can type flanger, and a lot of presets come up and algorithms, depending on where you're searching. And I saw manual flanger, or hand flanger it's called. I'm like, wait a minute, is that what I think it is? And it's a one knob where you can change, you can modulate it yourself. And I noodling with it till I thought it sounded good. And let's try to automate it, see if it works. And it works great. I think a hand flanger is going to be one of my new. It's actually a good sounding flanger, and I'm pretty picky about flangers. You know, most of them sound like a plug-in or like a little bit, I don't know, small or something. But this thing sounds really good.
That's awesome, and that sounds great. Like, the fact that you can just actually automate, like, and that's a kind of a misconception that you can't automate hardware, but, like, now with the software connected to it, it's pretty easy to kind of just pull that stuff off.
It's really easy. You know, I mean, what's the cool thing about it is the E mode allows me to take, there's 4 parameters automated here, right? But I'm only using 2 automation lanes. One is for the moving flange to make that modulate and go, right? The other one is to bypass 3 things, but it's only, you can attach it to whatever automation lane you want, because E mode has a way to select which function automates what knob. So you can have 4 knobs moving from one thing, which is good for me because I switched in. There's a compressor in there. Pretty cool. I don't remember the name of it, but it's a gray-looking compressor. It's got a really quirky attack. It almost sounds like a Verimute thing, but it's quirky. And then the SP6 2016 room is on there, and then the flanger. So the room really helps, because of its density, helps the flanger be audible through that whole range. It's kind of like putting a smoke machine for lights, you know. It kind of works great like that. I can't believe I came up with that.
The smoke machine for lights, H9000. Here we go. Cool. So do you want to show some of the other effects that you're using on your mix right here?
I'm just using these delays, and it really is. I've just used only thought this song sounds good even without being mixed.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, so I didn't have to do that much, but the delays were cool, and the delay. Well, here it is. The delay plugin that I made using VSig is the algorithm platform you can construct from building blocks, which really makes this thing you can do kind of anything you want, and actually learn a lot about how this stuff works and how to control them. Right. And actually, there's more stuff in there that I didn't get a chance to try. Notice there's transformer blocks. There's all kinds of things, these modules. So we could even make them more unique sounding. And anyway, basically, I just made a stereo delay that has stereo inputs. But I really wanted to have a 3-band EQ on it like I would on an SSL. Right. There's always EQ the delay. then a feedback from there to make the feedback. So the EQ is in the feedback loop. So that's why I made this. It's a very simple delay. And then at the bottom here is I didn't put the note values in yet because it's a lot of. I wanted to just take my time, and I was wasting too much time with VSig anyway. But I was having too much fun. Anyway, so I put a main delay setting and an offset control that adds and subtracts from either channel. So if I turn the offset up, the right side gets longer and the left side gets shorter. So, and then I just have a cross. The feedback is basically cross-linked, and it's just simple. Like I don't have a bunch of knobs to make it not that way or make it mono or whatever. So it just works really well, and it's kind of something I would do on the desk with delays and signal paths and stuff like that. The only thing, and then I guess that's it with that plugin. But I made it with this VSig program. It's really simple. Here we go. You see, there's building blocks. You just connect up the audio path to these building blocks, and then you connect up control lines to these blocks. You can control them from knobs or modulators or foot pedals or whatever you want. It's really great. And so it's really comprehensive, and I feel like, wow, even seeing that, you get more ideas, right?
It looks like a science experiment.
Yeah, well, for me, it took a little while to get used to the personality of this software, but it actually works. The first time I put an algorithm in, it passed audio, and it was like, I could see it in the box, and I'm like, okay, I can keep doing this, that's fine. Yeah.
And just so people know, this is how much of a genius Mr. Roy Hendrickson is. Look at that. Total genius. He said I'm a total genius. This is like a science experiment. Like if for some reason there's an algorithm in the 9000 that you're like, I like it, but I want something that's my own, you can build that. This is the tool. This is the same exact tool we use in the office to build our algorithms. So it's open to anyone who gets a 9000. You can build your own algorithm, and we'll help you out build your algorithm. It'll be cool. It'll sound awesome, and you'll also be a genius.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it. I did make the pitch shifter algorithm as well, but I basically stole that from one of the ones that was in the box and changed a couple of things. So it's in there. Anyway, that's basically it. Is there anything else we need to talk about here? I just so basically I just used 2 delays set up that way, and then the automated drum effects chain, which is cool, and then the black hole, which has been sort of a go-to for a long time. So.
It's just been like a tool that you're probably going to be using.
Yeah, because it has things we're all familiar with. It has a lot of H9000's algorithms, and not all of them.
Right.
But working on that, right?
Working on that.
Right. There's some more reverbs and things we got to get at, but.
Still releasing new things for it. But that's great.
But it sounds great, and the converters sound great, and it's a really overall great box. I feel like it's like having a wall of other things,
Well, thank you so much, Roy, for doing this for us. This is amazing. Everyone give Roy Hendrickson a hand of applause. Thank you. If you guys want to check it out, please ask us any questions you have. We'll definitely be happy to demo it for you. And we'll see you guys around the show. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much, man.
All right, thanks.